Hi, buddy. Hey, you ready to study? Hey, I promise you're going to ace that exam because of me. Okay? So, to make sure we have a good night of studying, hopefully we don't do an all-nighter, but I bought a couple of these bad boys. You guessed it, Monster Energy. Yeah, I don't drink it too often, but, we gotta do this the right way. Of course, we're a couple of students just trying to ace an exam. We have to pop up one of these bad boys. Of course. So, what do you say? At the count of three? My claws are not as sharp as I thought they would be. So it's kind of hard to open it. Give me a second. It's kind of hard to open it. Gosh. Gosh. That was way harder than it needed to be. Hey. Cheers. Wow. That is uncharacteristically sweet. Jesus Christ, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Hey, I have another idea. Why don't we play something in the background? Is a bonfire good for you? Helps you relax. Yeah? Cool. It'll just be a second. And there we go. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm kind of nervous about this, but I feel like we can make it. So, let's start with the most complicated part, okay? I am not good with science, but I trust you, buddy, and we're gonna get through this together. Let's start at page 10. I'll start reading first, okay? DNA and genes. DNA, deoxyribonucleic whatever acid, is a chemical found in the nucleus of every cell. It is a long, thin molecule that carries information along its length. Do you know what else carries information along its length? Sorry. Genes are particular sections of DNA cells that carry about 20,000 genes. In many cases, the information carried by genes is used to make proteins, each with a different job in the body. DNA is the reason why certain characteristics are passed down through generations. A pup gets half of its DNA from each of its parents. Wow. That's very interesting. Do you catch any of that? I didn't. I'm gonna have to read it again. It's coming up. Yes. Okay, I think I got that. Why did we have to start with the hardest part? Well, you know what they say. Hard parts are better. How about you read this one? Yeah, the one where it says proteins? Uh-huh. Genes. Okay. Huh. Have you ever met anyone who can roll their tongue? That's weird. I don't think I have. Dude, even Richie. And he's a giraffe. He's got an uncharacteristically long tongue. Not that I'm focused on seeing his tongue. It's just a... whatever. The proteins made by genes help determine simple characteristics such as eye color, but also complicated ones such as susceptibility to diseases, athletic ability, and even to some extent, whether you can roll your tongue. Well, that's definitely going to be on the exam because it is very helpful to know. Whatever. You know what? I'm just going to circle some important information that I think could be in the exam. Such as what DNA stands for. I still can't pronounce it. Deoxyribonucleic acid. How do you even spell that?
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Yeah, fuck that. I cannot say that for the life of me. Let's go to the next page, buddy. Oh, we're going to learn about our skeleton. Huh. Don't you think it's kind of weird that they always use the image of a chimpanzee to show a skeleton structure? Like, what about cheetahs or cats or wolves or literally any other creature? It's kind of strange. Whatever. Made up of about 270 bones when you're a baby and 206 bones in adulthood, your skeleton is the light and strong framework that supports and protects your body, gives it a shape, and allows it to move. Bones are held together at joints by tough connective fibers, stringy ligaments, or cartilage. Okay. Bones are strong, but with enough force, they can be broken in several different ways, from cracked like greenstick fractures partway into a bone to open fractures that tear through the skin. Luckily, old bone cells are always being replenished by new ones, so bones don't stay broken forever, but they may need the support of a splinter cast while they heal. You know, actually, one time I broke a bone. Yeah, while skating, like a dummy. And it was extremely painful. I don't recommend it. Have you broken any bones? You can pop this bone. Let's keep starting. I need a sip. Irregular bones have an unusual shape and include the bones of the face and of the spinal column. Yeah, the chimpanzees, dude. How do I know what I'm made of? Jesus. The heart and lungs are well protected by the strong ribcage. Synovial joints are found between bones that need to move freely, like those in the arm and leg. The bones in these joints are cushioned by a capsule filled with synovial fluid. Ball and socket joints. Don't you find that funny? Just a little bit. Whatever, you're no fun. At the hip and shoulder allow a long bone to... Come on. The jokes write themselves. Ugh. Long bone to rotate its rounded end inside a cup-shaped dent in another bone. Bones, bones, and more bones. Great. Well, I sure hope that stays in my brain. Because all I can think about is all the bone jokes I can make right now. Let's move to muscles. From the thick muscular walls that squeeze the chambers of your heart, to the tiny erector pili muscles beneath your skin that make your arm fur stand on end, muscles are the tissue that allow parts of your body to move. All muscles, except those in the heart, are activated by signals originating in the brain, sent along nerves. All muscles, except those in the heart, are activated by signals originating in the brain, sent along nerves. The signals stimulate your muscles to contract, pull tight, creating movement. I see. Did you know your ass is a muscle? Like, genuinely, your ass is the biggest muscle in your body. I know it sure is for me. Skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle together make up the muscular system. They require a lot of energy and produce heat as a result, keeping the body warm. Muscles near the surface of the body are called superficial muscles, and those closer to the bones and internal organs are called deep muscles. The chimpanzee body has nearly 700 skeletal muscles. And what about me? That's what I keep saying. Oh, let's move to something I definitely don't have. Nerves and brain. A column of nerves called the spinal cord passes through the hollow bones of the spine, sending electrical signals between the brain and the rest of the body. Each nerve is a bundle of neurons, nerve cells. Signals arrive at the brain from the senses. Outgoing signals move body parts that are voluntary, intentional, or involuntary. Unintentional, for example, to control breathing. Each neuron in the brain can communicate with up to 10,000 others. Wow. They must be famous. Sorry. The combined length of all the brain's neurons is 300,000 miles. Jesus Christ, that is a lot. I actually didn't know that. That is a lot. Let's review this a little bit. I'm going to make you a couple of questions, okay? Let's see if you can guess them correctly. What does DNA stand for? Okay, that's a little bit unfair. How many genes do our cells carry? Is it 10,000, 20,000, or 40,000? That is incorrect. No, it's 20,000. You need to study harder. Start practicing harder, Neiman. Okay. A pup gets half of its DNA from each of its parents. Is that true or false? That is indeed true. Very good. How many bones does an adult chimpanzee have? Is it... Oh, you guessed correctly. It is approximately 206. Very good. And final question. How many skeletal muscles does the chimpanzee body approximately have? Is it 600, 700, or 800? Yes, it's 700. Very good. You've been paying attention. I certainly haven't, and I need another sip of the Monster Energy. Gosh, I feel like we're going to have to pull an all-nighter. We're going a little bit slow. This is boring. Do you want to make out? I forgot I said that. Okay, I think this is the final topic, and then we can move on to space. I'm very excited about that. I'm actually interested in space, not the animal's body. Who cares about that? Heart and lungs. Since before birth, every creature's heart has been beating more than 60 times each minute to keep them alive. This vital organ is a muscular pump. You know what else is a muscular pump? Wink. Consisting of 4 chambers. With every beat, it pushes blood around the body through a close network of blood vessels. The blood delivers oxygen, absorbed from the air in the lungs, to the body cells and removes the waste product carbon dioxide, which is then exhaled from the lungs. So basically, if I get this right, the heart pumps blood toward the body, it receives blood back, and then it just keeps pumping to every bone and every muscle and every nerve in your brain, so it works. That is actually kind of interesting. There are 5 million red blood cells in just 1 drop of blood. Wow. Blood circulation. Capillaries are tiny blood vessels that form an extensive network throughout every part of the body. Oxygen passes from the blood inside, through their thin walls, into the cells of nearby tissues, and the carbon dioxide that cells produce as a waste product passes from cells into the blood. Blood also carries nutrients absorbed from digested food. Really? Wait, I actually didn't know that. The heart beats more than 36 million times every year. Pacemakers are battery-powered devices that sit under the skin with... I'm not reading that. Lungs take in oxygen-rich air from outside the body with each inhale, and expel carbon dioxide-rich air with each exhale. Veins are blood vessels that carry blood towards the heart. Capillaries are microscopic blood vessels that carry blood to every tissue of the body. Arteries are a type of blood vessel. These muscular tubes transport oxygen-rich blood away from the heart. Plasma, the liquid component of blood, carries dissolved nutrients from digested food. Red blood cells contain a compound called hemoglobin, which absorbs oxygen. Well, this isn't actually as fucking boring as I thought it would be. What time is it? Hopefully it's not that late. I have a bad reputation with staying up late studying, especially pulling all-nighters. Have I ever told you that story? That one story? No? Well, hang on to whatever you have nearby because it's kind of insane. So, I was supposed to present a very important exam the next day. Like, very, very important. And so, my solution was to stay up all night studying. The reason I chose to do this is because I really hadn't studied anything at all up to the day of the exam. Well, up to the day before the exam. So I panicked. I bought a couple of monsters, and I stayed up all night. Well, guess what? The day of the exam, or specifically the morning of the exam, I was literally falling asleep. Like, I think I was even hallucinating from how sleepy I was. I was falling out of my chair. I was almost falling out of my chair. Like, just dozing off and going backwards, going back and forth, and then I closed my eyes and I didn't know if I had actually fallen asleep for 2 minutes or an hour. I couldn't focus on the questions. The words seemed to just scribble and just change positions, and I couldn't focus on anything. It didn't matter that I went into the bathroom to wash my face 2 or 3 times. It wasn't enough. And so I failed the test, but not horribly. I actually failed the test just by a couple of questions. So if I had only gotten a couple more questions right, I would have passed. But destiny didn't allow me to. I know it wasn't destiny, it was my stupid decision making, but I want to say it's destiny, so I don't feel so stupid. So, how about that? The lesson of the day is don't stay up all night studying. It's not worth it. People say that when you get a good night's sleep, even if you don't study that much, you're more likely to ace an exam simply because your brain has more energy to keep working. It's like if you use your phone when it's really hot, it's going to overheat. So why risk it? Just let your phone cool down and then you can use it all you want before it actually starts to get dangerous. So that's my story. Just, to give the story a happy ending, I ended up redoing the exam, and of course, I passed it. It wasn't with an A plus or anything, but I did. That's all that matters. So, yeah. Hopefully, with these monsters inside my system, I can at least get a couple hours of sleep. Yeah, I know they have a lot of caffeine, but I've built kind of like an immunity to it because I've drank a lot. Yeah. Anyway, cheers. Is the bonfire sound effect okay, or should I change it to something else? Is it not getting repetitive? Oh, it's actually cozy. Oh, I'm glad. Cool. So, let's review this one more time. Okay. I'm gonna give you a couple questions again. The heart beats more than 40 million times every year. Is this true or false? This is false. It's actually 36 million times every year. There are how many million red blood cells in just one drop of blood? Is it 5, 6, or 7? Correct. It's 5. You've been paying attention. And final question. Red blood cells contain a compound called what, which absorbs oxygen? Hemoglobin. Exactly. Okay. Jesus Christ, we're finally moving on from this stupid animal body system bullshit thing. I want to get to space. I want to know about space. Where is it? The teacher told us to study from pages, I think, oh gosh, where is it? 216 to 226. It's not a lot. Okay. This should be easy. I'm very fascinated by space. It's actually one of my hyperfixations. Did you know that if you could travel to Andromeda, our neighbor galaxy, at the speed of light, and you could come back at the speed of light, there would have passed 4 million years here on Earth. Because when you're traveling at the speed of light, everything feels a lot faster to you. But time is a bitch. And all the time you're saving, it has to basically acquire it from something else. It's an equivalent exchange. And so, if you get to Andromeda at the speed of light, you really can't communicate back to Earth what it is. It's forbidden, I guess, by the universe. And so, you can come back, but civilization and humanity will probably be extinct by then. Isn't that just fascinating? Isn't that like, Jesus Christ? Also, did you know there's theoretically, but also it's kind of proven to be right, there's a giant black hole in the center of the universe, absorbing everything around it, like a tornado, like a water tornado in the middle of a lake. And it's absorbing everything, and we're slowly being pulled by it. It's called the Great Attractor. Isn't that so scary, but also so fascinating? God. Like, to know that the sun is made up of components and minerals and just chemicals that we have in our own body, like nitrogen and iron and hydrogen and all of that. Like, it's insane. It's insane to just think about it. Your veins that carry your blood, they have iron, and iron can only be produced in the core of dying stars. So your blood is literally made of stardust, dude. Gosh, it's so fascinating. I love it so much. It's so cool. Ugh. Gosh, if you could travel at the speed of light around the Earth, you would spin the Earth 7 times in just a single second. Whew. That is insane. That is crazy. Anyway, enough of my nerd yapping sessions. Let's get to study. Okay. The solar system is dominated by our nearest star, the Sun, which is so massive that its gravity keeps millions of objects in orbit around it. These objects include 4 small rocky planets with thin gaseous atmospheres and 4 giant gas planets with liquid or solid cores. Also, in orbit around the Sun are millions of smaller objects, such as asteroids, comets, and dwarf planets. All these objects with the Sun at the center make up the solar system. The solar system formed 4.6 billion years ago, 8 billion years after the Milky Way. Let's just think about that for a second, dude. We were nothing for 13.8 billion years. And then we were magically born. We were magically just formed by stardust and other things that fell to the earth by pure luck, and now we're here. And then we'll return to nothing for the rest of infinity. Maybe I shouldn't have had that monster, right? Gosh. It's just mesmerizing to think about. This is what I mean when I say I'm fascinated by space. It truly is incredible. The Sun is so massive that it contains 99.8% of the solar system's mass. We are inside that 0.20% of the rest of the solar system's mass. Even within our own solar system, we are so small. You can't even think about how small we are compared to the Milky Way. And you couldn't even begin to comprehend how small we are inside the local group. You know, like the group of the other 49 galaxies that surround us. They make the local group. You couldn't even think about that. There could be life in our own galaxy, let alone the other billions of galaxies all across the universe. I'm going to ace this exam if it only talks about space, I swear to God. Let's go to the next page. The Sun. The Sun sits at the center of the solar system with all the planets, moons, comets, and other objects in orbit around it. It is a star, a huge ball of gas that glows brightly because it is very hot. The temperature at the visible surface or photosphere is 9,900 degrees Fahrenheit, or 5,500 degrees Celsius for normal people. Nuclear reactions at the center, or core, release huge amounts of energy, keeping the core at 27 million degrees Fahrenheit. Jesus Christ. Nuclear fusion in the Sun. At the extreme temperatures and pressures in the Sun's core, the nuclei, central parts of hydrogen atoms, join together, or fuse, forming nuclei of helium atoms. This nuclear fusion reaction releases energy, and it is this energy that keeps the Sun hot. There is enough hydrogen left to power the Sun for another 5 billion years. Solar prominences. Persisting for days or even weeks, each solar prominence is much larger than Earth and even larger than Jupiter. It releases huge amounts of gas beyond the corona. This extremely hot outer layer of the Sun's atmosphere reaches millions of miles into space. In the chromosphere, of course, the middle layer of the Sun's atmosphere emits a red glow around the rim of the Sun, visible only during a solar eclipse. Other elements include small amounts of oxygen, carbon, iron, and neon. Isn't it crazy? The Sun has neon in it, and helium, and all of these components. It's like if you have the right combination of elements at the same time put together, they make a star. And if you have the right amount of components and elements and chemicals and whatnot, you can make literally anything. It's like there is a being much, much bigger and much more complex just playing God and making all of these objects come to life. It's crazy to think about the universe, isn't it? The Sun is made almost entirely of the chemical elements hydrogen and helium. All the other elements together make up less than 2% of its mass. Just like our mass compared to the mass of the Sun. Solar eclipses. Normally, the full moon is slightly above or below the Sun as seen from Earth, but sometimes it lines up exactly so that it blocks the Sun's light. This is a solar eclipse. During a solar eclipse, the moon casts a shadow on Earth. In parts of the world where the moon fully blocks the Sun, the eclipse is total, and it goes dark in the daytime. I guess you could say it is a total eclipse of the heart. Come on, you gotta high five that. Come on, dude. You bet. Let's go to the next page. The planets. There are 8 planets in the solar system, including our own planet, Earth. The 4 nearest the Sun are small, rocky planets. The other 4 are giant planets, with solid or liquid cores surrounded by deep, dense atmospheres. Rocky planets have few moons, or none at all, while each giant planet has many moons. Have you ever thought about the fact that we have a single moon that is also perfectly spherical? You know, while all these other planets, for example, I believe Jupiter has hundreds of moons, like Europa and the other ones, and they just orbit the planet, while our moon, it is so perfectly shaped that sometimes it aligns with the shape of the Sun, creating, of course, the solar eclipse. But have you thought about how they are so perfectly they are at the perfect distance where they can block each other out, even when their size are so vastly different. Have you thought about that? That even the presence of our moon and the sun being in the same space at the same time and them blocking each other out is such a mathematical insanity that it shouldn't even be possible. It's an odd of one in trillions and trillions and trillions, just like your existence and my existence. Like the odds of us existing right now in this moment are zero. It's impossible, and yet here we are. Just makes you think about everything. Gosh, this monster is really doing things to me. Let's go to the giant planets. All giant planets have rings made of chunks of ice and rock. Saturn and Jupiter are gas giants. Uranus and Neptune are ice giants. NASA's Juno probe, currently orbiting Jupiter's poles, has captured incredible pictures of giant. I'm not reading that. Jupiter is mostly gas and liquid. Like the other giant planets, its atmosphere becomes more dense towards the center. Actually, yeah. Oh, yeah, it says right here. Saturn, being a gas giant, does not have a solid surface like Earth. It's primarily composed of hydrogen and helium, with a likely solid core deep down, but the visible surface is actually the upper layers of its swirling atmosphere. You would just fall down forever and just sink deeper and deeper and deeper like an endless ocean of pure agony until you fall into the core and stay there stuck forever. Yeah. It's kind of fucked up to think about that, isn't it? Just the fragility of our own existence. Gosh. Anyway, let's go to the next page. Stars. A star is a huge ball of plasma, electricity-charged gas that is so hot it glows brightly. I'm so hot I glow brightly. Wink. It is kept hot by nuclear reactions at its core. Our sun is a star, and a few thousand other stars are visible at night, but there are billions more stars in our galaxy. A star's size determines how much light it emits, how long it glows, and what happens to it when it stops shining. Stars are born in vast clouds of gas and dust called molecular clouds. In these stellar nurseries, gravity causes the gas and dust to clump together. These clumps are pulled together, forming even bigger clumps and eventually spinning disks called protostars. When nuclear reactions start in the hot center of a protostar, a new star bursts into life. So basically, all of the components to make a star are kept in this very tight, I mean, I say tight space, but it's actually billions and billions of kilometers wide. And this space where it contains all the right elements to make a star called a stellar nursery. And I believe that is actually the explanation for the very famous photo, The Pillars of Creation. You should look it up. It is fascinating. Like, even though the Pillars of Creation are like 7,000 light years away from us, and like we did not originate from these pillars, just think about all of the stars and all of the planets that are being originated by, I guess you could call it this this star nursery. All of the planets that are being born, all the life that is being created right before our eyes, or right before the eyes of the Hubble telescope. But it's just Man, we should be studying, but I could just cry right now. It is mesmerizingly just beautiful. Um, anyway, exoplanets. An exoplanet is any planet orbiting a star other than the Sun. The first confirmed exoplanet discoveries of the planets orbiting the star in the constellation Virgo is 2,300 light years away. Since then, astronomers have discovered around 5,000 more exoplanets. These exoplanets fall into categories that are similar to the planets in our solar system. There are small and large rocky planets, Earths, large ice giants, Neptunes, and huge gas giants, Jupiters. Wow. So basically, all of the other planets that are not orbiting our sun. So there could be life in any of these planets or in any of the other billions and billions of planets that are out there, which is utterly insane to think about. Oh, supernova. Sometimes a very large star reaches the end of its life in an extremely violent and bright explosion called a supernova. New chemical elements made during a supernova event are scattered into space in the dying star's outer layers. At the center, the rest of the star's mass is compressed into a neutron star or a black hole. During a supernova, the outer layers of a dying star are expelled into space, forming a vast and beautiful cloud. The Crab Nebula is the remnant of a supernova that occurred in a long time ago, which was so bright that it could be seen by the naked eye during daytime. I believe this is 1054 CE. I don't know what that means. But let me look it up quickly. Oh, it means Common Era. So basically, it refers to CE, the years after the traditional year of Jesus' birth. So basically, the Crab Nebula is the remnant of a supernova that occurred in 1654 CE, so Common Era, which was so bright that it could be seen by the naked eye during daytime. Did you think that our ancestors thought it was, like, I don't know, a god? Or it was the sign that they should sacrifice people or something? Like, really, when you think about it, it is no wonder that people came up with all of this mythologies and all of these possible explanations of gods and other super powerful beings that controlled the weather and the rain and the sun and the nighttime and everything, because everything was so new and everything was so just chaotic and unpredictable that something like a dying supernova, to them it could have meant that the end of the times was coming, or that God was making himself present. And it's, yeah, no wonder that all of these stories came to light. Okay, let's look at one final chapter. Galaxies. Our planet is part of a vast system of stars, planets, dust, and gas called the Milky Way galaxy. There are billions of other galaxies in the universe. The Milky Way is a spiral galaxy with a central bulge. I also have a central bulge, surrounded by a flat disk divided into several spiral arms. Everything in it orbits the center, where a huge black hole is located. The galaxy may be partly made of an as yet unexplained kind of matter called dark matter. Damn, this is fucking tea. Like, I'm just saying, I know we're reading about space, but like, this is fucking tea. God damn, like, it just be saying shit like that. The galaxy may be partly made of an as yet unexplained kind of matter called dark matter. Dude, like, that is, damn, that is so fucking tea. Like, actually, that's insane. The Milky Way's halo. Clusters of very old stars exist in a spherical region called the stellar halo. Extending beyond the stellar halo is a galactic corona made of thin, hot gas. Types of galaxy. Astronomers group galaxies into three main types. Elliptical galaxies are spherical or elliptical, egg-shaped, They contain old stars, and no new stars are being born in them. Disc-shaped spirals contain a lot of young hot stars, giving them a blue-white appearance. Galaxies that are neither spiral nor elliptical are called irregular. Wow. The closest galaxy outside the Milky Way is 25,000 light years from the Sun. Dark matter is a hypothetical like we're getting explanations like dark matter. This is what the dark matter looks like, and like I imagine dark matter to be possibly, what do you say, dude, like maybe like a cheetah. No, a wolf, and he's like 6'5" or maybe 7 feet tall, dude, and he's like jacked, and he has black fur, and he has like red eyes, and he's wearing a suit, and he has it. Yeah. No, I'm not projecting. Anyway, dark matter is a hypothetical substance that cannot be seen but has a gravitational influence on other objects that can be observed. Theory suggests that early in the universe's history, dark matter collapsed under its own gravity to form huge halos, yellow in this computer simulation, that attracted normal matter to form galaxies. So it's basically like an invisible force just pulling things together and like just basically just pulling the strings without anyone watching, without anyone really being able to explain what's going on. Almost like a puppeteer who's pulling the strings outside of everyone's view. Isn't that like insane? That's literally crazy. Quasars. A quasar is a galactic center that emits huge amounts of light and radiation. A quasar emits thousands of times as much radiation as all the stars in our galaxy. The radiation from a quasar is produced by stars, gas and dust reaching extremely high temperatures as they fall toward a supermassive black hole. Jets of high-speed particles spiral out above and below the quasar. Is it quasar or quasar? Whatever. I think the Big Bang is also going to be in the test. Well, let's read it just in case. Wait. Particle physics. Physicists try to recreate the conditions in the first second of the universe by smashing subatomic particles together. We can see their tracks in particle detectors. There's an image right here that is literally the alternative cover for Is This It by The Strokes. I'm not even kidding. If you recognize it, you're a real one. In the beginning, all the universe's energy was contained in a space smaller than a proton. The Big Bang Theory is the prevailing scientific theory for the origin of the universe. The theory suggests that the universe started expanding 13.8 billion years ago from an extremely hot, dense point. It describes how all space, time, and matter came to be. There is a great deal of scientific evidence to support the Big Bang Theory, from the interactions of tiny particles to observations of the universe at the grandest of scales. The way this is phrased is kind of strange to me. Let me get a sip of my monster first. I want to taste your monster so bad. I'm gonna give it a taste. Oh, that tastes amazing. It says right here, it describes how all space, time, and matter came to be. So before the Big Bang, there was no space or time. So what this theory is suggesting is that time was created with the Big Bang? So how does that even work? If there was no time before the Big Bang, how did the Big Bang even happen? If there wasn't like a way to measure when it was going to happen. And what do you mean it created time? Does that mean time is a chemical reaction? Like, what the fuck? What does this mean? It describes how all space, time, and matter came to be, or are they just using time as like like a mathematical measurement, like light years. Are they just saying that? Because, like, since it created a big bang, it created distance between planets and stars. So, if you want to travel from one star to the other, it takes light years, and that's what they mean with time. I don't know. It may be too late for me to rationalize this question, and I don't know if I'm even making sense right now. So, the universe is nearly 3 times as old as the sun. But just think about it. Just think about that. It's only nearly 3 times as old as the sun. Like, the universe is only 3 times older than our sun. Jesus, yeah, no, that's strange. I get just dizzy thinking about how incompetent and small we are compared to everything else. So, I don't know about you, but since I'm so fascinated by space, I think all of this information is definitely going to stick. So, I don't really think that I have to just go through all of these pages again with questions. I think this is all more than clear. As I said, I'm extremely fascinated by space and everything it represents. So, I think that concludes our studying session. It was really, really cool, except for the animal anatomy part. I really don't care about that, but space is really cool. So, I think we're definitely going to ace this exam, and if we don't, well, too bad. At least we gave it our best shot. Cheers, dude. Well, do you mind if I stay the night? It's kind of late. I don't want to drive back to my apartment, so, I'm already here, so might as well, right? We could maybe watch a movie together. We could cuddle if you're in that mood. I know we're not like dating or anything, but whatever. Friends can cuddle, dude. It's not illegal. And besides, we're both fluffy as hell. It's gonna be very, very comfy. Or I can just sleep on the couch if you want. Jesus. It's your call, but yeah, I feel confident. I think I'm going to do very well in this exam. I hope you will do too. So, yeah. I feel very good. What do you say? You want to go watch a movie and cuddle? I have a very, very good recommendation for a movie. Now that we were talking about space, have you seen Interstellar? Oh, of course you have. Damn it. Well, we could rewatch it. Yeah. It's a cuddle and watch a movie session then. Definitely not a date. But it's a watch a movie and cuddle together session. You bet.